You're listening to Key West Beer Tales, the sum of all beers, brought to you by the Cork and Stogie, 1218 Duval Street, Key West, Florida. The facts and opinions of the show and its staff are prone to exaggeration, error, and conjecture, and are often given under the influence, always given under the influence of drinking beer. After all, this is a beer show. It's about beer, and we are busily drinking it while discussing its merits, so what did you expect? Slurring, laughing loudly, name-calling, and belching are par for the course, so it's best if you imbibe with us in a responsible manner, just to get into the spirit. We always welcome your comments, whether we actually pay attention to them or not. Thanks for listening.
Hey! Welcome to Key West Beer Tales.
The sum of all beers. And we happen to be at the Cork and Stogie tonight, 1218 Duval Street.
In sunny Key West, Florida.
That's why we live here.
All right. Well, tonight we're going into phase 2 of our Pilsner reviews, discussions, all that.
Yep.
And this week we're going to be looking at perhaps the finest Pilsners that exist on the earth.
Well, let's just say Old World. The original Pilsners.
Well, yeah.
Or originators of the Pilsner style.
Okay, all together now. Let's say Old World.
Old World!
Old World!
Let's introduce it.
So it looks like
All
that's
right.
the phrase of the night is Old World.
Old
Yes,
World.
so every time you hear Old World, that's the call for the social.
That's right.
Yeah,
And my name's Key West Chris, and I've got a long background in drinking beer, studying it as well.
It's a study. I'm Danny Hoy, the novice of the group.
Resident novice, yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm Cowboy Mark, and I am professional drunk.
I thought we all take turns here.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm Dave Jr., and I'm pretty sure I belong in that club with him, with Cowboy Mark.
Yeah, Dave's on my team.
And I'm Dave Sr. here to learn a lot about beer tonight.
Well, just to go over it again, Danny is a novice, so she's learning about beer. Mark has an extensive knowledge about beer, even though he's calling himself a drunk.
It's a joke, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
You drunk.
And he's also a bartender here.
Drunk.
Dave Jr. is a bartender here as well, and he's catching on with the beer thing really well. And then, of course, we have Dave Sr., who sees the marketing side of things because he owns the Cork and Stogie, who's sponsoring us tonight. Thank you very much. So he sees the marketing side, as do Mark and Dave Jr., because they're selling to the public. They're the ones who are interfacing with the people that are coming in here. In any case, tonight we're going to be reviewing some Pilsners, and the first Pilsner we're going to review is Pilsner Urquell. Pilsner Urquell, by the way, Urquell is a German word. At the time when it was first brewed, it was brewed by a Bavarian in Pilsen. They hired him because they were tired of this cloudy, top-fermenting beer that they thought was horrible. So they hired a Bavarian who, about 10 years prior, is when the lagers started to become prominent in Bavaria and Austria.
Hey, real quick, sorry to interrupt. Did we get a year on that?
Yeah. It was 1842 for
1842.
Pilsner Urquell. That was when they first brewed.
1842. Okay,
1842. And Zadelmeyer in Germany was 1936 when he came out, and Dreher, same year, they worked together for the development of lagers. In any case, the Czechs were very unhappy with the beer that they had, and they hired this guy, and his name was Josef Groll, to develop a lager for the city of Pilsen in Czechoslovakia, which was Czechoslovakia at the time.
It's not anymore.
That's right. Times change. He went over there and he developed the recipe, and they're still using the exact same recipe that they used then. They wanted to get a clear beer, which, of course, lagers get filtered, so you don't have a lot of the yeast clouding, and they also wanted something that would last longer on the shelves, which, again, lager will do. The things that they're known for, probably the most, are the hops. They have the Czech hop is called a Saz hops, and they're very unique to. They used to have like penalties for people who tried to smuggle them out, which ranged from fines to death.
Yeah, I read some stuff about that, and I really love the folklore around, especially. Well, I mean, obviously, American beers haven't been around long enough to actually have folklore. The folklore around Old World beers. Old World.
Old World.
Old World.
Old World.
Cheers.
Old World.
And be cheering with us every time you hear Old World, which is the key word to cheer with us.
Drinking a Czech beer right now, the Czech word for cheers is Nostrovy.
Yeah,
Nostrovy.
Not Nostrovia.
Nostrovy.
And that's Polish and Russian.
Yeah. So I really enjoy the folklore behind the Old World beers, and the penalties, as you said before, are like some of them are like pretty severe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd like cut your hands off and stuff.
Yeah, or your head.
Yeah, or your head.
Yeah.
For stealing hops?
Or drag you down the street behind
exporting hops.
Exporting.
Yeah,
no hops for you.
Smuggling.
Smuggling, illegal export of hopping.
Yeah.
Hops.
So, in any case, another funny thing is, it goes back to one of my things about these people who are making these alcohol beers with 10, 15% alcohol and whatnot. A lot of people, experts, consider this. Now, I don't agree with them myself, because I don't think there's one particular one, but this is on that level. They consider this to be the finest beer in the world. This beer has 4.4% alcohol. It's not a strong beer, yet a lot of knowledgeable people consider it to be the finest beer in the world. I wouldn't argue with them. I just think there's other beers that are equally as good. What I also should say is that at the time when this beer was brewed, the area was co-population of Czechs and Germans. The name that we get is the German name. What it says is Pilsner Urquell. Urquell means it's the source of all original Pilsners. That's the German name. The Czech name for it is Plzeňský Prazdroj. We don't get that label, but they've always marketed it outside of the Czech Republic and with the German name.
Excuse me, Chris, what was that name again?
The Czech name?
Yeah.
Plzeňský Prazdroj. And if you see it spelled, you'd say, really?
Then I would know.
Yeah, take a look at it. It's nothing. If I had to try to pronounce it myself, I would have gotten it
That's
wrong.
the German name on there. It's not the Czech name. They don't have the Czech name on there.
Either way, I still would have gotten it wrong.
Well, the first time I had this beer was actually in Westport, Connecticut, at a little clam shack at the end of the pier.
A clam shack?
Yeah.
How is it with clams?
It's fantastic. I mean,
Wow,
it goes
great.
with everything. I mean, this beer goes with everything. I would never reject this beer. I sometimes overlook this beer when there are other beers that I am more interested in at the time, but this is definitely, when I was, traveling in Europe, you find these beers like, Beck's and Heineken and stuff at like airport bars.
Sure, yeah.
And this is a perfect airport beer. It's nice and light. You're not going to get on the airplane drunk, and it's great.
Danny, what's your opinion of this? This is being someone who's a novice. By the way, I should throw in also that the bitterness rating of this beer is the highest of all the beers we've reviewed to date. It's 33, which is higher than anything that we've had to date on the show.
I was noticing the bitterness actually quite a bit. It was something that sort of surprised me, because I've had I like a lot of different kinds of pilsners, and I don't notice that they're very bitter at all, or they're not not quite as bitter as this one. But it's a very delicious and tasty looking, and just looking at it, it's a beautiful beer.
It is. It's beautifully balanced.
It's very pleasant to drink. And
Mark, how about you?
In spite of the name.
So,
just kidding.
Thanks, Dave Jr.
So for me, this is,
first burp of the night.
I've also read things where notable people have mentioned this to be the finest beer ever made. I don't agree. I do think this is a fantastic beer, great example of the style. It's wonderful. It's actually a little darker than most Pilsners.
Yes.
And it's
almost a golden color.
Yeah,
it's
it
like
is.
a deep golden.
Yeah, I was surprised at the color.
As opposed to a light golden.
It has more of a golden color, an amber, if you will. And I will. But yeah, definitely it's a more bitter beer, which is, I like it a lot. And I would just say, like, I would pair this easily with barbecue. I would pair it with pizza.
Saucy things.
Yeah, saucy things, basically.
Yeah.
Something you'd need quenching. Spicy foods. Like Southeast Asian foods.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, because it leaves a very poignant taste in your mouth.
Yes.
It doesn't just go away.
It's hanging on.
It's a little spiky on the tongue.
Yeah. It's lingering.
It's got personality.
My 2 cents. Spiky on the tongue.
Spiky on the tongue.
That's
I get no eraser from this.
no, and
at all.
no tongue on the telephone pole.
No.
No, none of that. None of that.
Definitely no banana peel.
No banana peel.
This is steely and fresh,
Spiky.
old world. It does. I don't think it gives any more Old World than this.
Did you say Old World?
I did. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So this is definitely, to me, this is like reminds me of drinking in Europe. This reminds me of drinking in the Czech Republic, drinking in Germany. It reminds me of like everything about it. It's great in the summertime. It's great in the wintertime. It's great with food. It's great by itself. I mean, the reason why these beers still exist to this day are because they're really good beers.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, exactly. And the interesting thing, again, about this one is that it was first brewed in 1842, and to this day they use the same recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the Key West Cigar Factory Cuban Split with this one, it's nice and mild cigar for that.
Excellent pairing. Yeah.
So I think that's the one with this one.
Yeah, definitely. Or that, what's the green one?
I don't know.
It's right there. The Florfina?
Yeah, the Florfina.
From Arturo Fuente would be really good with this.
Yeah, that's one of the mildest cigars, and it's green, so it kind of sets you off a little bit, but you got to remember, it's green because it's mild.
Yes.
So.
This, I think, would go better with a milder cigar.
Yep.
Nat Sherman's, actually. The cigarillos.
Yeah. Nice, short, and sweet with one beer and the shade in the Key West. And, oh, my gosh, the palm. Oh, here we go.
Straw hat.
I think Dave Senior needs a day off tomorrow.
Straw hat and a seersucker suit.
Yeah.
And a Pilsner Urquell in his hand.
And a Pilsner Urquell. Yeah.
One of the things about this one is that the body of it is very smooth and very wide.
It's very true.
It's got a lot more body than some of the other Pilsners that you'll find outside of the Czech Republic. This is the original Pilsner. This is what everybody patterned theirs after, but they're all a little bit different. You know, everyone has their own ideas on brewing things. So
and this does actually, for me, have a bit of a lingering yeast finish to it, which is funny because not funny, haha, but interesting, funny, because a lot of the other ones that we tasted last week were yeast forward for me. And so
there's actually no yeast in it now at all because they filter it all.
Oh no,
out.
I know.
Yeah, but
you
get
flavor.
the residual flavor. Yeah,
flavor.
Or in the ales, that they're all much more prominent.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But just off the nose and off the lingering, almost aftertaste.
Cool.
Which has a negative connotation to it, but it's a positive thing in this case.
In this case, it's positive because it's just a damn good beer.
It's damn good beer.
Damn good beer.
I think we should finish these things off and go to our next bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beer number 2. So this is Czechvar, another beer that I drank the hell out of, both in Europe and in the United States. It's interesting they changed the label up here since I've had it last. It has B:original, which is weird.
Does change affect you, Mark? Does that bother you?
It does bother me a little.
I think
it's like
I think that's a dig. I think they're getting a dig with that B.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. We'll get into that in a little bit, folks.
Yeah. So again, this is amber in color, which is a little bit darker than most Pilsners.
But again, this is a Czech Pilsner,
this is a Czech Pilsner.
Again, maybe that's the way it's supposed to be, and everybody else deviated off.
Yeah, of course. Maybe everyone else is wrong. Chris, do you have any notes on this one?
Notes on this one are it's significantly less bitter than the Pilsner Urquell, and
which doesn't mean it's sweet by any means.
No, it's not sweet. It's just I believe the bitter rate was something around 20 on this one.
Yeah,
I forgot my notes, but I'm pretty sure it was 20. Where the Pilsner Urquell was 32, and you can definitely taste the difference of it. The body is kind of similar, although the color is a little bit lighter than the Pilsner Urquell.
Yeah, we're getting lighter in color.
Yeah.
Danny, tasting notes.
I like this better than the first one.
You like it better?
Yeah, I like it. It's less bitter. It's definitely.
It's got more of that chemical
We need to get
process.
into the history of this beer.
Yes. Oh, it's nice.
And Mark was talking about the B in it.
Oh yeah.
And
there's no bee in this beer.
No, on the
there's a bee in your bonnet.
There's a bee in my beer.
But Czechvar is the name that they're using in the United States. And
yes.
it's for a legal reason because the brewery itself has had a long-standing lawsuit with a U.S. brewer by the name of Budweiser, and the reason is because their regular name that they go by is Budvar, and in the Czech Republic, where this brewery is located, it used to be a bicultural area, and a good percentage of the people there were German, and the German name for this town is Budweis. And the beer from Budweiser is Budweiser. So they've always had this legal dispute with Budweiser here in the United States. And now through just the miracles of acquisition, by coincidence, the same company, the same conglomerate owns both breweries. And if you take a look at the bottles, last time I looked anyway, it's imported into, it has some name, but it's imported into St. Louis, Missouri.
They played the lawsuit out. They won the lawsuit.
Nobody won.
No one won it.
No one ever won.
I thought Budweiser won.
Oh, no.
No.
Because this company predates Budweiser.
Yes,
and
that's why.
Budweiser just kept throwing money at it.
So
Actually, no. Budweiser predates them as a company, as a corporation.
As a company.
Yeah,
yes.
as a company.
Sorry.
But the thing is, beer's been brewed there for 1,000 years. So.
Yeah.
So anyway, quite interesting. Thank you for that, Chris.
Well, Dave, what do you think of this beer? What's your opinion of this in relation to?
I really
Pilsner
like this
Urquell?
beer. It really makes me think of Oktoberfest. It really does, and I know it's not
It's not even a German beer, actually.
German beer, but it does remind me of Oktoberfest. And when I say Oktoberfest, I say Oktoberfest in the United States. What I'm experiencing in September in Columbus, Ohio, not necessarily Oktoberfest in Germany. So, I think it's a really nice beer.
That's fabulous.
Here again, same cigar,
Same
Yeah,
situation.
Cuban split.
original
Yep.
Key West Cigar Factory
And
Cuban split.
again, so my cigar pairing would be the Florfina from Toro Fuente.
Florfina Toro
Yeah.
Fuente.
What?
How about you, Dave Jr. Talking to the shoe and
Dave, we'd like to have Dave
to the
Jr.'s.
Well,
He's got the
Tell us
shoemaker.
what's going on in
in,
your
in
shoe.
my opinion, if let's just say if the cooler was stuffed with all of these beers all at one time, I'd probably just keep reaching in and drinking whatever. It wouldn't matter because they're all pretty good. But I will tell you one thing right now. I do like this beer. This is something I could take out. Again, it's something I could drink on the boat. It's not a high alcohol content, so you're not going to go out there and you're not going to be out. You can go to the sandbar, sit down, have a couple, and you're not going to be trashed by the
Yeah,
time you're
it's
done.
4.9 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Actually, I believe the bottle says 5%.
Oh, okay. Oh
That's
no,
all.
excuse me, I'm getting my beers mixed up. This was 5. The other was 4.4. One of the others is that we're going to have is 4.9.
Danny, get a food pairing from Danny.
A food pairing?
Not pears.
No pears.
We had
Actually, this has a lot of
And
that
also no rings.
Perry.
Although onion rings would be good with it.
onion rings.
But I don't want to plant any seeds.
Oh,
What do you
like
think?
fried food. That's kind of a cool idea. I love onion rings.
The cork mix goes well with it, I would say.
Cork mix.
yeah, the
I mean, pretzel.
Cork mix
This
has
is like
a lot-
the
This is
a
definitely a
perfect
pretzel beer.
That's
It is a
exactly
pretzel
what I was
beer.
getting- The point
So,
I was trying to get
I mean-
to was the pretzels.
So when you sit
Pretzels
down
and mustard and
yeah, you sit down in the German beer halls and like hoist them high,
yeah.
and like you get that awesome like doughy, crispy pretzel with
The
like
city of
salt
that
on
mustard
it,
and
and
the pretzel.
mustard, and you just like it's spicy.
Oh,
and
that'd
you,
be fabulous,
And you
yeah.
wash it down with this. It's like
Oh,
yeah, like I am a man and I wielded a sword 400 years ago and invented
Somebody-
fire.
Somebody bring
the
me
wheel.
a bloodwurst.
Bring me the bloodwurst. Bring me the
Actually, yeah.
bloodwurst.
Yeah,
That's
the
true.
Bratwurst.
A sausage would go great with this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
really
fantastic.
nice sausage.
You know, it's really weird. They would the big people that make sausages best have also the beer that goes the best with sausages.
Yes.
Strange.
I think it's time we move on.
Are we moving on?
okay.
Check pills.
No, we're Deutsch Pills now.
Deutsch pills.
We're into the Deutsch Pills.
Deutsch Pills.
Okay.
Deutsch Pills.
Tasty.
Beer number 3. Chris, what are we drinking?
Right now we're drinking Warsteiner, which is the largest family-owned brewery in Germany. The only beers they really produce they produce this one, which is a Pilsner. They have a dark beer, which they call a dark Pilsner. Kind of unusual. And then they have an Oktoberfest. They're not located in Bavaria. They're in Westphalia, which is, I don't know. Just if you want an Oktoberfest beer, get one from Bavaria. That's what I have to
Well,
say.
yes, but not to discount their Oktoberfest, because their Oktoberfest is actually, it's a good beer.
Oh, I'm sure it's a good beer.
Yes, I would definitely recommend the appropriate region for that beer.
But the thing
Because
about
I don't like change.
Change
you don't like
sucks.
change.
I don't like
Change is bad.
Right now, what we're doing is we've gone to the German Pilsners, which are significantly different than the Czech Pilsners, even though they're right next door. One of the interesting things that I found fascinating about when I was doing my research on Pilsner Urquell, which, again, many people who are extremely learned in the beer world consider that to be the finest Pilsner in the world. Some people consider it the best beer in the world. I respect that. I may not agree with it, but I don't think anything gets any better than either of the two beers we already had. But in any case, one of the things that they're being put up on this pedestal, and they don't have to answer to anybody. But one of the things, if you go on their website, you start reading through their material. They have this one section which is talking about how diversified Pilsner beers are throughout the world, and they go by countries or by continents. The first country they address is Germany. They put German Pilsners right on the exact same level as their own. They say they're different. They're doing this, that, they're doing that. They're doing a few different things. They have a different beer, but theirs is as good as ours. And then after that, everybody else is. They're not talking down about it. They're just saying you can in between the lines. They're saying they're not as good, which is I thought really fascinating that they would, because they don't have to say that.
And I agree, actually. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
One of the things I'm noticing about this beer is that it's so different than the Czech beers that we had.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is. And the bubbles on this,
Tiny bubble.
tiny bubbles, actually, literally tiny bubbles, little tiny bubbles. And it has more of a, so I'm going to say German, but really what I meant to say was it's more like a Kolsch bubble or a champagne bubble. It has this kind of effervescence about it that is different than the its
Czech beer.
Czech
Yeah.
sisters.
Yeah.
Is that right? Sisters, brothers,
Cousins, whatever.
cousins, friends, and neighbors.
Yeah.
Or as we say in Key West, the Bubbas and the Cuzzies.
Oh, that's a different show.
What?
Okay, so I'm going to go with this being the lightest of the three so far.
Absolutely, yeah. And one of the things also is that we've gone
In color.
Yeah, in color, yeah. But also in body, it probably uses about the same amount of malt. However, the body is a slimmer body, and because another big difference is the hop they use, because the Czech hop is a very floral hop, and the German hop is a very sharp hop. And this one, you're going to notice like a very sharp taste. For me, it's the back of the mouth. It might be a Tetnog or it might be a Hallertauer, something like that. But it's a phenomenal beer, but it's so different than the Czech.
Again, I said spiky on the tongue, so...
Oh, yeah.
This one is
It's
actually
that
very
petty,
spiky on the tongue. It has, again, a residual yeast scent on the nose, and as well on flavor. It has like a more of a bread yeast flavor, which is, if you've ever... It doesn't taste like bread by any means, but if you've ever made bread, it has a very similar kind of mouthfeel.
Well, you know you probably do know, Mark. But for those who don't know, the Germans consider beer liquid bread.
Oh, yes.
And Dave, we were talking before, and might have been on another show, but I had the pleasure of going to both the BMW and the Mercedes factories, and when I was there, the workers would be there, and they'd have on the assembly lines, and they'd have a beer sitting right on the outside of their workspace.
Not uncommon.
Which is a fantastic way to work.
I've had lots of co-workers that I've worked with in the past that have had six-packs hidden right on the end of their workspace.
But that's here. Over there, you don't have to hide it. As a matter of fact, we went into the cafeterias, and they have at Mercedes, the local beer in Stuttgart is called Dinkelhocker, and you'll see Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and then some, maybe a juice machine, and then you'll see a Dinkelhocker machine.
And again, I was amazed to find the availability of daytime beer drinking in Europe when I was over there. Like, I mean, pretty much everywhere. I mean, like, the Radler, which is a lager generally mixed with like lemonade, but the Germans call everything that's not beer lemonade. So it's just lemonade, and but like actual lemonade or grapefruit juice, which is what the Stiegl Radler is made with. And Stiegl was featured in a previous show. And again, cheers to Roger from Stiegl.
Yeah, Roger.
Cheers,
yeah.
Roger.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah.
Hey, Roger.
Old World.
Old World.
Old World.
Old World.
Let's bring that one on.
Roger is definitely an Old World beer drinker.
Oh, yeah. When I first joined the Army, I had beer machines, and it only cost $0.25.
We have beer machines in the
Yeah,
Navy, too.
right there on post. So I don't know if something happened. I think somebody's put too many quarters in there.
I like Mark's idea of thinking right now. He's pouring more beer for us.
Yay, more beer.
Dave is too.
We're gonna
I
pass
hate to
the
be
town, actually.
redundant, but the original Key West Cigar Factory, Cuban Split, again, I hate to be redundant and to avoid change for Mark.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I'd like to point out the fact that I'm the youngest person in the room, and I hate change.
You really hate change?
No, I embrace it. Actually, change is a really great thing because it causes you to think outside the box, to grow. And honestly, like I like it when I'm challenged with change, and for instance, with change with beers. I have tried a lot. So Pilsner's my go-to beer. It's generally my flavor profile that I look
I
for
love
in a beer.
Pilsner.
I can vouch for that.
I mean, like, yeah, Dave, you know what I
can
like.
vouch for that.
I mean, everybody in this room knows what I like, but I definitely, when I see something that says Pilsner on it, I want to try it. Mm-hmm. I'm not always going to like it, but I want to try it because, like, it's my flavor profile. I enjoy the American craft version of the Pilsner because it is different. And a lot of the times, they're fantastic beers. They don't always taste like Lorsteiner or, Czechvar or whatever, but they're all pretty much really awesome beers unto themselves. Mm-hmm. Do I think they all should call themselves Pilsners? No, but yeah, whatever. They're made in the Pilsner style, so that's cool.
Yeah. This is a beer I've had many, many times, and I just didn't realize it was a Pilsner. It didn't cross my mind. Yeah. I just didn't realize.
Oh yeah,
it.
Vorsteiner's like. I think when we had this last year, Chris and I drank it all in about 3 days.
I think so.
So,
as a matter of fact, it's the largest privately owned brewery in Germany.
Yeah, and if you've never been here before, and probably a lot of you have not been to the Korgenstogi before, we don't really buy mass quantities of beer, but we tend to run out of mass quantities of beer.
Really, yes.
Yeah, and generally the reason why we never know what we're doing until Monday afternoon is because we kind of like we blow through beer on the weekends, and Monday's like.
Well, I think the Korkenstogi needs to have a hat tipped to them because, Dave, you were telling me recently that beer is now your number one seller here.
It's been the number one seller since we put in the 10 taps.
Yeah. So it's paying it off. That's great.
10 taps, tiny little bar, whole lot of beer.
So I'm done with my tasting notes. Who else has tasting notes?
I think it's probably so far the lightest in color. I mean, as I'm looking at it, it's definitely the lightest in color, and the tiny bubbles exist.
It's beautiful beer.
It's very tasty. It's another easy drinking, like it's old world style.
Oh,
Pilsner style.
Old world.
Hopefully you're cheering with us.
I like this quite a bit. This is a really, really yummy Pilsner. And
It's interesting to taste the differences between each one, and
Yeah.
the bitterness, the ratios, the bitterness.
So, do you think we've gone up or down in bitterness
This one seems lower to me than.
than the other two?
Well, yeah. I mean, the other one had was very bitter. I thought.
So I think we went from high to or lower, back up, but not
yeah,
not
not
nearly
too
as,
much,
Not
yeah.
nearly
Not
as
as high as.
Oh, no.
It's gone from
Which
like
one
a
was it?
19 to a 22.
The Czechvar was the highest one.
No, the Pilsner Urquell was. That was
The
33.
Pilsner Urquell. Okay, that was the highest one. Yeah, it went. We went down. The second one wasn't as much as this one.
Before we had the two different Czech Pilsners. Now we're going to have two German Pilsners, which again, we noted the German Pilsner is significantly different than the Czech Pilsner. Now it's going to be a matter of how different the two German Pilsners are from one another.
Very interesting. Very interesting. This one's very foamy.
Dave
foamy.
Senior's really
Very
lagging
bubbly.
behind.
Lagging? I'm the laggard.
Dave Senior is loggering behind.
He's lagering behind.
I was thinking I had a tough day, but
'Cause
then I
as you
realized
know-
I didn't. So
As we
I
know,
don't
a
have
Pilsner is a lager.
Of course, a Pilsner is a lager. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a bottom fermented beer. In doing research today, none of these sites, of the 4 beers we're doing, none of them had any information that we want to have. We want to know what the amount of bitterness is. We want to know what the alcohol is. Some of them might have had the alcohol, some didn't. I had to go around and hunt down, find out what the alcohol percentage was.
Beer Hunter.
And
Beer Hunter. Hashtag Beer Hunter.
what I found out was, in our first time we did a show, we were using these sites that evaluate beer, and I said, now wait a minute, I don't trust these people. I don't trust these people because they let anybody say anything about beer, and that's how they evaluate their ratings, which is stupid because you got a whole bunch of idiots out there that, granted, they're new to it. They're just trying
Let's
to...
use the term ding-dongs.
All right, there's a bunch of ding-dongs out there
Nimnas.
who
Nimnas.
don't... they're new to beer, and I think that's great. They're enthusiastic. They're having a great time, but they really don't have that much knowledge about it. And when I looked, I was trying to find the alcohol rating on Pilsner Urquell, and I went to 2 of these sites, one of which gave Pilsner Urquell, again, a beer which so many esteemed experts over the years have called the best beer in the world. Whether it is, where it isn't, but that's okay. These people were very respected in their field. That's what these guys gave it. One gave it a 75, and the other gave it an 81. And I just said, "Oh my God, thank God we don't use those things anymore." But they did give me the alcohol content and the IBUs. That was a little bit more difficult, but
Yeah, I mean, again, though, I mean, so we discussed this briefly before the show. None of these beers need to do anything
No,
other
that's
than
right.
sell.
Yeah. No, they
themselves.
stand on their own.
I mean, like they're all standalones. I mean, like these are great beers.
the one that we're going to now is we haven't mentioned it.
Okay.
Is the Bitburger, which is out of Bitburg, Germany, and this is also another German Pils. I've had the Warsteiner on one weekend, and I had the Bitburger on another with a week in between. I said, boy, those beers really taste similar. When you have them back to back, they're different as night
my
and
God,
day.
yeah. I mean, it's black
but,
and white.
They're just both of them are very distinctive German Pilsners. If you drank either one of them, you'd say, these are German Pilsners. There's one German Pilsner that I wanted to get, but nobody had it. It's called a König. It's from a town called Duisburg in Germany.
Yeah.
Beautiful name, Duisburg. But anyway, to the English
like
here anyway.
Dweezil?
But that, in my opinion, is the best German Pilsner that I've ever had. But there's nothing...
That's a
I mean,
really-
if that's a 12, the 2 that we've had are 10s. And Bitburger is the number 1 selling Pilsner in Germany.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with it. Like that Pilsner is like a fantastic Pilsner. Sad we didn't get it, but yeah, whatever.
No,
This is-
like I say, on the scale of 1 to 10, the two German beers we're having are perfect representations of German Pilsner. Bitburger and Warsteiner, scale of 1 to 10. There, as far as the German Pilsner goes, they're 10s.
when I was in the Czech Republic, Bitburger is about €1.30, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it.
It's probably like $1.80, $2,
Yeah,
somewhere thereabouts.
a
Yeah.
little under $2.
Okay, yeah.
Or it was at the time. I can't speak for conversion rates at this moment. And I was staying at this hotel, and the hotel had like a really great selection of Czech beers, and actually their selection of pilsners were amazing. But they were more expensive. They were
more expensive than the German beers.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Because the German beers were considered lesser. But if you're in Germany and you're buying Czech beer, it's the other way around. Because Czech beers are considered lesser.
Yeah. You know
So-
what was... Oh, go ahead.
So anyway, so I would go to the hotel and I would get 3 free beers per night, and so I'd go up to like the little overlook area where the bar was on the roof of the hotel, and I get the 3 free beers, and then go back down to my hotel room and drink the German pilsners, which is weird, but whatever. Czech Republic, it's a cool place. Go see it.
You know, one of the things I found doing a little bit of research, I always do this every week. I'll do a little bit of research on the beers that we're going to be doing. I do it the day we're doing it because we don't know what we're getting until the day we're doing it. But one of the things I found out, which I had never seen before in the Czech Republic with the Czech beers, is that you can buy it in what they call tanks.
Yes.
And a tank is...
You're welcome.
It's... Anytime. But a tank is this thing... Now, for those of us who've lived up north, actually we all have. If you ever had a furnace in your house and you have the oil tank for your furnace, that's about how big they are. It's slightly different in shape, but about the same size, and they're filled up with beer. And the restaurants will get those things, and that's how they serve their draft. And they call it a tank.
I thought you meant up north like Isla Morada or something.
Dave,
Right.
you've
you're
been
fired.
down here. Congratulations, you are now really you're now definitely a conch Republican. Dave, the thing stands as tall. Now people can't see it.
Yeah,
but,
it's like an oil
But that's
furnace.
like what, 6'2", 6'4"?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
In height, there's this humidor that they have here, and it's easily that it's like 6'5", and maybe about 8 feet long, and maybe about
Well, it's
5
like-
feet wide.
It's like an oil tank for your furnace.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not like they can pull that thing out and put it in. So I'm thinking they must have the breweries must have something that comes in and fills it up just like an oil tank would.
Yeah.
Like an oil tank at your house where you're going to be heating it up.
Let's
It'd be
hope-
like a honey wagon.
Yeah. So like, let's. It's I foresee problems with that in the United States, much like those couple of years back.
Yeah,
there
it probably
was,
never would happen here.
a couple of years back there was an issue with some firefighters pouring gas, airplane gas, fuel they call it, I guess.
Avgas.
Yes,
That's the name for it. Avgas.
avgas
Yeah.
onto a burning airplane. By accident, and I would say that would probably happen.
They're pouring avgas on a plane that's already on fire.
Yeah, that happened.
They must have really been messed up.
Yeah, they had been watching our show too much,
Wow.
Yeah.
and by watching I mean listening, and by show I mean I'm drunk.
They're listening to the show and watching in their head.
I was getting ready to say that, Mark, but I'm.
Yeah.
No, I think you're tired.
I think actually what you're going to say was, Mark, you've been at work for too long.
I was going to say you're not drunk, you're tired.
That's true.
Which,
I'd like
the
to point
alcohol
out-
like increases that feeling.
Oh yeah, it
It is
accentuates it.
somewhat my fault.
No. It's nobody's fault. It's my own fault. I took on the shift.
Yes, you did.
You did a double today, didn't you?
I did a double today.
Yeah.
but,
I had one yesterday, which is why
I remember,
asked
yeah.
you to do
I-
that.
And we
work-
never came in to see you.
I worked
But
Thursday,
it's just the way
Friday,
it goes.
Saturday, Sunday, and then a double today. So in layperson's terms, it's a donut.
Okay.
However, I can say that I took
You did
one
like
for the
36
team from
hours
you,
in 3
and
days.
you just took one for the team from me.
Yeah.
And cheers. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I
So-
appreciate that.
So a donut is do not do it.
Do not.
Oh, okay.
Donut.
Well,
I like
right
how
now
he
Right
says,
now we're doing bit burgers.
I took it on.
I
So
took it off.
let's talk about the Bitburgers.
Oh, Bitburgers, yes.
Let's
let's
get
talk
your
about
opinion
some
on the
beer.
Bitburger.
So this is a little bit
Is this
more.
an old word beer?
An old world beer.
Old world.
Yeah.
It is an old world beer, and you should be cheering with us because that is the word of the day. Old.
So
Got two
this
old
is
world-
this
two
this one
words
is a little bit more frothy, and then by frothy I mean like effervescent. I would say this is the lightest in color of the 4 beers.
For sure.
It is not the lightest in body. I would say the
No.
Warsteiner is
Yeah,
a
the
little bit
Warsteiner's lighter, yeah.
much lighter actually. I would even consider it considerably lighter. But so it definitely has a less hoppy kind of undertone on the nose. And again, residual yeast is like kind of a little bit high, but it's always high with this style. The Pilsner style is always kind of a little bit high residual yeast on the nose. Obviously, it doesn't have any yeast in it anymore. It's been filtered.
Chris, can I
Well,
get you to tell me where this beer is from again?
It's from Bitburg, Germany.
Bitburg.
And that's why it's called Bitburger.
There you go.
There you
I
go.
love it. I love it. I love how that comes together. This is what I'm learning here.
Yeah.
you
What
know?
was it?
If I'm not mistaken-
bit.
Well, yeah, their slogan is Bitte ein Bit.
Bitte.
Bitte ein
Bit
Bit.
being short for Bitburger, and Bitte is, in German, the word Bitte means please. So, please, a Bitburger.
So Bitburger. Yeah, this is really something else.
So, I mean, this is an animal of different species.
It's very pretty.
It is very pretty.
It's a
Danny.
lovely. It's a lovely color, and the way the light hits it and everything. It's a really lovely.
think your glasses might be smudged.
I like that you
Yeah,
call
they
it
might
lovely.
be.
I think that's kind of fun.
Lovely.
It's a lovely beer.
I'm a girl.
Lovely.
It is lovely.
I'm a
It is
girl.
much more floral than the last one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
And my pairing with this would be actually fish.
Really?
Yeah, I think a
Fish.
good river trout,
Okay.
like a rainbow trout, or like a bass, but like freshwater fish.
Right.
And,
No saltwater fish.
And if you're from Ohio, maybe like a walleye.
freshwater fish, olives.
By the way, I want to mention we have the Key West Brewfest coming up, Labor Day weekend. It's less than a month away, so there's a lot going on there for beer.
As well as we have 4 events here coming up at Cork and Stogie, right, Dad?
Yeah, we have a Legunitis, which I
August 22th.
22. Yeah, it is. I love that. I love that.
It's very true.
We had the
It's an amazing
Lagunitas.
flyer.
Yes,
August
it is.
22th.
Yeah, it's Steal the Jar.
Steal the jar night. Steal the jar. Buy a pint. Steal the jar.
And on the 27th, it's a Cigar City beer tasting. The 28th, it is a. Which one is that one? Yeah.
That's
See,
the
that's
Working
the
Drunk
Stiegel
Room.
Is
That's
it
the
on the-
Stiegel
That's
night.
where
How did I
Stiegel
forget?
night.
Roger
night.
will be
And
here.
Stiegel night on the 28th?
The
We're gonna get the
28th,
right
we'll have
Roger in.
Bethany from Stone Brewing
And then
Company
Stone
in.
Brewing Company back on the 29th. And then the Brewfest is the 30th.
And then for everybody listening that's coming to Brewfest, by the way, Cigar City has a specialized keg being shipped to us.
Yes,
Oh.
they
I
do.
am not going to release the
also,
name
Stone.
of that particular keg, but I'm going to say one thing right
Stone?
now. Come in
Stone
and
as
get
well?
it.
Stone
Cool.
is Stone?
Stone is the one that's shipping us a keg. Bethany.
So not Cigar City.
Well, Cigar City will have a couple specials.
Right. Cigar City's going to have
they-
a couple specials. I
A
don't know.
couple unnamed specials.
They haven't told us yet.
Roger will have all the Stiegels that they have available, but Bethany is getting a Stone very, very special.
Zip it good.
Uh-oh. No? No? We
Lock
can't
it
talk
up,
about
throw
this?
away the key.
Wait, what can't we talk about?
The
stuff.
particular beer. I
Oh,
just
the
wanna make
variety.
sure-
of
Yeah.
beer.
it's-
Oh, okay.
We're going to make
So
sure we
it's-
keep it a secret.
Oh, the
Yeah.
specific variety. I
All
wasn't.
right, well, just say
We'll
it again
just
without
say
mentioning.
it's barrel aged. We'll leave it at that.
All right.
Don't even say that. Sorry.
Well, too late.
I can put a
No, she
little.
can edit it.
I can
Oh,
put
yeah.
a.
Okay.
By
So
the
we
time
need-
people hear this, it's going to be happening.
Bitburger.
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 Bitburger, a great
Bitte
beer.
ein Bit.
Does everybody like
Great
the
beer.
Bitburger?
Reel it in.
Reel it in,
Absolutely.
Danny.
No, this is this has been an interesting night because we've tried 4 different pilsners, 2 Czech and 2 German, and they have a lot in common, but a lot of differences as well. And these are really refreshing to drink. They're very light in a lot of ways, but yet substantial. But you can drink these pretty much all day. They're
Yeah,
less.
you can.
They're around. They all hover around 5%. They're all, a certain amount of bitterness, but they're really, just great to drink when it's hot, and great to drink with a lot of different food stuffs and items, and
Yeah, as a matter of fact, speaking of alcohol content, the highest alcohol content of the 4 beers we had today is 5.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe that was the Warsteiner.
Yeah.
Maybe the Warsteiner was 4.8 and this was 5.0, but also the Czech Var was 5.0, the Pilsner Urquell was 4.4.
This bit better is 4.8.
Okay, thank you. What it all goes down to is that all you need to have is a good beer. It doesn't matter what the alcohol content is.
Mm-hmm.
It's irrelevant. And personally, the lower the alcohol content, I'm actually happy. As long as it's a good beer, I love it because that means I can drink more.
Yes, exactly right.
They're all around 4 or 5%. It's
You get these
doable.
things that are like 9 and 10%, and like you can drink 3, and then it's all over.
Yeah.
Sorry, thanks for choosing these beers tonight. Great choices. Thanks for bringing them. This sponsored by Chris Ream.
No, it's sponsored by the Cork and Stogie. We wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for them.
You guys were the impetus for this. You're the inspiration. So
All right.
always. We're, looking at really great beer and what great beer tastes like, and expanding our palate. I think that's what it's all about.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to Key West Beer Tales, the Sum of All Beers.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Thank you.
Recorded live.
We hope you're drinking with us.
Recorded live here in Key West, Florida, at the Cork and Stogie.
1218 Duval Street.
In sunny Key West.
That's why we live here.
I'm Cowboy Mark.
Diamond Dave or Dave Jr., either way.
Dave Sr.
I'm Danny Hoy.
And I'm Key West Chris. We thank you so much for listening. Prost.
Prost.
And
Old world.
Nostrovi.
Enjoy your beer.
And Old
Wherever
World.
it's from. Old World.
Old world style.
See you next time.